Well, Warriors fans, it has finally happened nearly 3 months after NBA free agency begun. Today, the Golden State Warriors made all of their big money moves for the 2025 offseason, signing veteran center Al Horford, bringing back guards D'Anthony Melton and Gary Payton II, and investing long-term into rookie Will Richard. So in today's video, I'll be going through and reviewing all of these free agency signings and talking about what these guys could possibly provide for the Warriors in the 2026 season. I'll also be providing you guys with yet another Jonathan Kuminga update. Now, before we do get into this video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more Golden State Warriors content. And today has been a crazy day, so comment down below any thoughts you have. And now, let's get into this. Now, we have so much to talk about. So much has happened over these past 12 hours. So I firstly want to begin with talking about all of the details of these free agency signings. Firstly, as reported by Shams, free agent Al Horford has committed to a multi-year deal with the Golden State Warriors. Now, with Al Horford's age, this multi-year deal, I am assuming it would be a 2-year deal. Likely the second year would have a team or a player option. And if picking up former NBA champion and former All-Star Al Horford wasn't exciting enough, a few hours later, Shams had another report for the Warriors fans, this time saying Gary Payton, D'Anthony Melton are now locked in for the Warriors 2025/2026 roster. Now, coming off of the ACL, I'm going to assume D'Anthony Melton's deal will be a 1-year deal, and Gary Payton reportedly had a 2-year deal on the table. So that would be my guess with those two guys. And then 5 minutes later, Shams had even more news for us Warriors fans, and at this stage, I was genuinely questioning whether I was dreaming or not. Now, this time around, he has said Golden State's number 56 pick, Will Richard, is signing a 4-year deal with 2 years fully guaranteed, as the Warriors are investing long-term in the rookie. Now, I don't know about all of you guys, but me, honestly, I am so overwhelmed. All of this news hitting in a 10-hour span after waiting almost 3 months for it to happen. But honestly, I am just so happy. I'm so excited at the moment. We can now officially begin our training camp, our media day, as we start to gear towards our preseason games. Now, what I am most excited about is all of these guys we have signed today address some big needs for us. Firstly, Al Horford addresses by far our biggest need, and that is us getting a goddamn center. We used to pray for times like this, and Al is a true starting center, and despite his age, he has still been playing some great basketball this past season with Boston. He averaged 9 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and he was part of yet another playoff run for the Celtics. And most importantly, when it comes to Al Horford, not only is he just a center, but he is a center who fits our 3-point shooting system, as he can really knock down the ball from beyond the arc, going at 40% over these past 3 years, and in every one of those seasons, he hit 100 plus threes. And not only is Al Horford going to help us on the offensive side of the ball, he is also still a super solid defender, and I actually think the biggest winner of this Al Horford signing is actually Draymond Green. Finally, he gets some help and size on the defensive side of the ball. He doesn't have to do it alone anymore. Now, Al has averaged a block per game every single season of his career, having a total of 1,300 blocks across his 18 years in the league. And according to Genius IQ, Horford defended the 6th most isolations in 2025. Yet another positive when it comes to signing Al Horford. Time and time again, we have seen all the league's best stars have such good games against our Warriors. That is because ultimately, no matter how much zone defense we play, if we don't have a good direct defender on them, they are going to find ways to keep scoring the basketball. So Al is going to be able to help us try and shut down some of the league's biggest stars. And also as well, Al Horford is a very versatile defender. He has the ability to switch onto wing players, so he is going to help bring some versatility to our very weak defense. So we are truly truly getting a guy that can do it on both sides of the ball and a guy with so much NBA experience that he can hopefully pass down to our younger bigs. Now, I think despite his age, I think he's going to be a great acquisition, and I think a lot of people are underestimating this signing. Now, there is a funny side to the Warriors signing Al Horford, and that is he is now a teammate with Jimmy Butler. And if we want to remember back to the 2023 playoffs, Celtics Heat, these two guys had a little bit of a mini rivalry. In game 1, Al Horford hit the timeout Sally. Fast forward a couple of games to game 3, Jimmy Butler hits him with the return timeout celebration. So it's great to have these two competitors on the same team. And then with De'Anthony Melton, he provides us with some much needed guard scoring off the bench. Now, technically, I would say this is a re-signing. After he did his ACL and got traded away, he didn't play a single game for the Brooklyn Nets before coming straight back to the Dubs. And in all honesty, I don't blame either side for wanting a reunion. It was a small sample size, but in the 6 games he played for the Warriors this past season, he was simply fantastic. He averaged 10 points, 3 rebounds and 3 assists, and he was starting to earn that starting shooting guard role. And at the time, prior to his injury to begin the season, the Warriors were looking like the best team in the West, and it was looking like the dynasty wasn't quite over yet. Now, the last 2 games prior to that ACL injury were simply iconic. We picked up a win versus the eventual champs OKC on the road. Melton was one of our best players. He had 19 points in that game. And then his last game with the Warriors this past season was the famous game versus the Dallas Mavericks in Clay's first return to the Bay. In this game, Melton would drop 14 points. He was an influential player in this one. And ultimately, Steph would go on to hit one of the craziest game winners in Warriors history. Unfortunately, after that game, things would go downhill for Melton and the Warriors. Like we said before, he would suffer that ACL injury, eventually would be traded away to the Brooklyn Nets, and the Warriors would have a terrible patch of basketball, but hopefully this season he can reach similar heights to the beginning of the 2025 season. And with Gary Payton II, he provides us with such a spark off the bench, whether it's big stops or some monster slams. He just provides the Chase Center with so much energy, and every team needs a TJ McConnell type player, and Gary is ours. He is truly a fan favorite, and it is very lucky that we were able to re-sign him, because we almost lost him in free agency once again. At one stage, it was looking very likely that he was going to sign with the Lakers, but unfortunately that's fallen through, and he is coming back to the Bay. And last year, he had his best season since the 2022 championship run, averaging the 6 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist. But to me, I really don't care about GP2 stats, because the chemistry he brings to the team is simply irreplaceable. And to me, chemistry is the big difference between the 2022 Warriors championship run and some of the recent Warriors teams we have had. In 2022, we played fun basketball. It was all smart. The guys on the bench were jumping up and down. We had a lot of fun, and to me, that directly correlated to the championship. It was us versus the world. Whereas with some of the recent Warriors teams, it just feels like the energy and chemistry hasn't quite been there. And it almost even feels like at times we're fighting against ourselves. And I don't even just mean that metaphorically. I mean, we all remember what happened. Certain incident we're not going to speak on. And then also as well, losing a couple of guys. Things just haven't felt the same up until Jimmy Butler came in at the trade deadline, and it felt like that chemistry and energy was back. And look what happened. The Warriors started to win games. Our basketball looked fun once again, and the players, fans, staff, everyone was having fun. So losing Gary Payton would have been detrimental to our chemistry. So it's great that he is back. And look, I think the chemistry and the vibes are going to be back next year. And lastly, rookie Will Richard gives us a young player to invest in the long term. Unfortunately, we have struggled developing young talent while trying to stay competitive in recent years, but now we get another chance at it with a super raw prospect, but a guy that I feel like has a lot of upside. And he had a great final year at Florida, averaging the 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. And he helped lead the Gators to an NCAA championship. And come the Summer League, after being drafted by the Warriors, he looked really good, showing some glimpses on both sides of the ball. And to me, I think he could turn out similar to a Davion Mitchell. Now, I don't want to lie to you guys. Look, he's probably not going to make much of an impact on the Warriors in 2026, but I think in the long term we could get some really great return from him. Now, to finish off today's video, hopefully for the final time before we get an official decision, let's talk about the Jonathan Kuminga situation. I'm so sick of talking about it, but I do think the Warriors have come to an internal decision on Jonathan Kuminga. If we remember, the sort of headline that has surrounded the Warriors this entire offseason is they're essentially not making a single move / signing until the Kuminga situation is sorted out. Now, today that we've made all of these signings, I'm assuming they've already come to a decision on Jonathan Kuminga, which is so exciting. We are all so sick of this situation. I feel like a lot of us don't even care what happens at this stage. We just want to know what's officially going to be happening now. It almost just feels like this has dragged on 2 more months than it needed to. Now, at this stage, even still, we don't know what's going to happen, whether he re-signs, and if he does re-sign, which of the contract offers he is going to accept, or maybe is he still going to be traded away, potentially now or in the near future. We still don't know, but something has to happen and will happen over the next couple of days, as October 1st is the official cutoff day where the Warriors and Kuminga have to make a final decision. Finally, there's no more waiting around. The deadline cuts all of that off. So at this stage, I think he will end up accepting the new offer the Warriors gave him, and that is an upped offer to 3 years, $75 million, with the last year being a team option. Now, Kuminga's team has stated the only reason he hasn't accepted that deal, he wants that last year to be a player option rather than a team option. But look, I do understand it from Kuminga's standpoint. Potentially 3 years down the line, he might be an all-star caliber player, potentially deserving of a lot more money, but he still hasn't shown that enough to the point where that last year deserves to be a player option, in my opinion. The Warriors don't want to budge that final year. They want to have control over what happens. So neither side wants to budge. It is just a classic stalemate, and it's going to come down to, I'm assuming, the final day. I think a decision will be made on the final day. The Warriors also reopened the door of potentially signing and trading him. Apparently, they're talking to the Sacramento Kings once again. The Kings only want to offer Malik Monk. The Warriors don't want Malik Monk, so we're just running in circles again. I'm so sick of talking about this. Please make a decision on what's going to happen. But look, into positive news, we are finally going to see what's happening with Jonathan Kuminga. So in conclusion, things are starting to finally look up for our Golden State Warriors as the 2026 season fastly creeps up upon us. We finally put some pen to paper and make some official signings, but most importantly, the Jonathan Kuminga situation is very close to being over. We can finally put it behind us and start to gear towards what is hopefully going to be a very exciting season. Now, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and also feel free to comment down below your thoughts if you haven't already. Plenty of content coming. The New Orleans Pelicans are coming to my city, Melbourne, with some of our former players, Jordan Poole and Kevon Looney, so expect some exciting content with that very shortly, and I'll see you all in the next one.